since it's membership month, it'd be good to hear from some of our members on why they joined Rotary, how they joined Rotary, and basically why they're still a member. Let's turn it over to Ray Keller.
Okay, Gary. Well, thank you so much. Well, the first thing I think of is that everybody's got a Rotary story. That's the one thing. Even though there may be 2 or 3 of us on here today, every one of us have a Rotary story. And it traditionally begins the same way. Somebody invited us. Perhaps it was membership month. Maybe the meeting just before, there was a challenge that was put out to members, and they said, go find somebody. Rotary was a little different when I joined it back in the 70s. I don't know if many of you know how it worked back then, but I'm probably sure it's still that way today, although it may be a little looser, but there were classifications. And the whole goal of Rotary in the early days was that it would not be all school teachers or all doctors, but it would be people from differing walks of life, so you would have a cross-section of Americana in all of your clubs. So if there was already a realtor in the club, for another realtor to join, he would have to find a sub-classification. So, and also with membership, if you were being proposed for membership, you did not know it. You went before the board, and the board basically vetted you to determine if you were eligible, if there was a classification open, and also if you were the type of person that should be a member of the Rotary Club. It was a way of saying, I guess, in the beginning, that instead of us running around trying to encourage people and beg people to come join our club, back in the day, it was this club that if you knew about it, you would want to be in, but you couldn't ask yourself in. I said all that to say this: I have no idea why I was included. There must have been a membership month or something going on. I was in my early 20s. I was just moving to Jonesboro, and a guy named Don St. Pierre owned a flower shop, and I went in there for the first time ever to buy some flowers, and I was in my jeans and a t-shirt, and he said, "What are you doing for lunch?" And I thought, my goodness gracious, is he going to ask me out to lunch because I bought some flowers? And he said, "No, I want you to come go to a Rotary meeting with me." And of course, I begged off because I wasn't dressed, but he took me, and I went to the Rotary meeting. And back in those days, everybody had suits and ties on, and it was the movers and shakers of Jonesboro. Everybody that was in the newspaper, in the headlines, streets were named after them. And I sure felt out of place. But I've never walked into any place for the first time and felt more included than those people made me feel. And these were old guys in their 30s and 40s and 50s. And they made me feel so included. And I enjoyed the atmosphere and didn't think a thing in the world about it. About a month later, I got a call saying I was being proposed for membership. And that's how I joined. And as soon as I joined the club, I got off my tractor every Tuesday, and I came to Jonesboro until I moved up here, and I came to the meetings. And the reason I came was because Roy Jolly put the fear of God in me that if I ever missed a meeting, I was in big trouble. And I'm so grateful for the people that made up the Rotary Club. And I was thinking of some of their names today, people like Jack Deacon and Roy Jolly and Spud Clark and Tom McDonald and Bob Houston and Alan Nixon and Ken Beatles and Coach Jackson and Strat Appleton, Harold Copenaver, Lynn Bayless, Bob Shukart. I could just tell you, I'm so indebted to those people. They were people that were making things happen in Jonesboro, and they were people that were the foundation of the Jonesboro Rotary Club. And just to be a part of that group made me feel so very, very special. And it made me want to be involved. It made me want to feel like that they made a good choice with me and that I was worthy of being a member. So they put me to work from the very beginning. I was on a committee in the first week. I was on a committee with Alan Nixon. And if you've never been on a committee with Alan Nixon, you have no idea what that was like. But I'll tell you what, I learned a lot about Rotary, and I learned it was more than a club that just meets. It was a club that made a difference to people who often couldn't make a difference with themselves. So, Gary, I'm grateful to be a member of this club. This is year 42 for me, I think. And I'm just as fired up and passionate about it as I ever have been. Part of that reason is some of my Rotary buddies like Sam and Marilyn and Gene and good grief, your incoming president, Gene Wing, Bob Appleton. I think about the years we've all been in this club together, and we see each other around town, but for the most part, through the decades, every Tuesday we've come together and experienced the thrills of being in Rotary. And I will just close by saying, if you're a member of this club, if you're on this call, you're already part of that group of people, because you're committed enough to be a part of this call. But we got to reach out to the other members of our club and remind them of what it means to transfer from being a member of the Rotary Club to becoming a Rotarian, which didn't happen for me overnight. It's when the change comes from Rotary being something you do to Rotary being a part of who you are. So I intend, as long as you guys will have me, to continue being a member of this club and trying to help out any way that I can, but I appreciate every one of you. Back to you, Gary.
Ray, I appreciate that. I appreciate you sharing your story and those kind words. I think, like I said, Rotary does a lot of good for a lot of folks in town, and we can continue to do that. We're gonna have to find a way to do that in this new environment. So, and we can, and we will. So